When billionaire Marcus threw dirty food at the homeless girl, he laughed. He didn't know she was Emma Richardson, daughter of the man his father destroyed. For 15 years she planned her revenge. Tonight, she would take everything from him just like he took everything from her. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. Rain was falling hard on the streets. Emma sat outside the Golden Palace restaurant, shivering in her wet clothes. She had not eaten anything for 3 days. Her stomach was making loud hungry sounds. Rich people walked past her without looking. They had warm coats and full stomachs. Emma held a small sign that said, "Please help me. I need food." Inside the restaurant, Marcus Williams was having dinner with his friends. He was 32 years old and very rich. His father owned many businesses in the city. Marcus wore expensive clothes and a gold watch that cost more than most people's cars. Marcus was laughing loudly with his friends when his bodyguard came to him. "Sir, there is a dirty beggar outside. She keeps asking people for money. Should I call the police?" Marcus looked through the window and saw Emma. She looked young but very thin and dirty. Her clothes had holes in them. Her hair was messy and wet from the rain. "No, don't call the police," Marcus said with a mean smile. "Let me have some fun with her." Marcus picked up his half-eaten expensive steak and walked outside. Emma looked up at him with hope in her tired eyes. "Please, sir," Emma said in a weak voice. "I have not eaten for days. Can you please give me some food?" Marcus looked down at her with disgust. "You smell terrible," he said loudly so everyone could hear. "Why don't you get a job instead of begging like a dog?" "I have been trying to find work," Emma said softly. "But no one will hire me because I have no address." Marcus laughed cruelly. "That's not my problem." He threw his leftover steak on the dirty ground in front of her. "There. Eat that like the animal you are." The steak fell into a puddle of dirty water. Emma's eyes filled with tears, but she was so hungry that she picked up the wet, dirty meat with shaking hands. "Thank you," she whispered. Marcus's friends were watching from the window and laughing. "Look at her eat from the ground like a dog," one of them shouted. Emma looked up at Marcus with tears in her eyes. But there was something else in her look too. Something that Marcus did not see. It was hatred. Pure, burning hatred. "What's your name?" Marcus asked, still laughing. "Emma," she said quietly. "Well, Emma, don't come back here again. You make this place look bad." Marcus turned to go back inside, then stopped. "Oh, and Emma? Take a bath. You smell like garbage." His friends laughed even louder as Marcus went back into the restaurant. Emma sat in the rain eating the dirty steak with tears running down her face. But what Marcus did not know was that Emma was not just any beggar. She had a secret. A big, dangerous secret that would destroy Marcus's life. Emma's real name was Emma Richardson. 15 years ago, her father owned a successful company called Richardson Industries. They made parts for cars and employed 500 people. Emma lived in a big house and went to private school. But then Marcus's father, Robert Williams, wanted to buy her father's company for a very low price. When Emma's father refused to sell, Robert Williams decided to destroy him. Robert spread lies about Richardson Industries. He told newspapers that their products were dangerous. He bribed government officials to cancel their contracts. He paid competitors to steal their customers. Within 6 months, Richardson Industries was bankrupt. Emma's father lost everything: his company, his house, his cars. The stress was too much for him. He started drinking alcohol every day and died of a heart attack 2 years later. Emma's mother could not handle the pain and left town, abandoning Emma when she was only 17 years old. Emma had been living on the streets ever since, planning her revenge. For 5 years, Emma had been studying the Williams family. She learned everything about their business, their secrets, their illegal activities. She was not just a beggar, she was a very smart woman who had finished college while living in homeless shelters. Emma had been waiting for the perfect moment to destroy Marcus, just like his father had destroyed her family. And tonight, after Marcus humiliated her, she decided it was time. 3 days later, Emma cleaned herself up and put on the only decent clothes she had. She went to the Williams Industries building and applied for a job as a cleaning lady. Because she looked poor and desperate, they hired her immediately for very low pay. Now Emma could get inside the Williams building every night. She could access their computers, their files, their private meetings. She began collecting evidence of all their illegal activities. For 6 months, Emma worked as a cleaner while secretly gathering information. She discovered that Williams Industries was involved in money laundering, tax evasion, and bribery. She recorded phone conversations and copied important documents. Marcus never recognized her because she looked so different when she was clean and wearing a uniform. To him, she was just another invisible worker. But Emma was watching Marcus every day. She learned his habits, his schedule, his weaknesses. She discovered that he was engaged to a rich woman named Sarah Peterson. They were planning to get married in 3 months. Emma decided to start her revenge by destroying Marcus's engagement. She knew that Marcus was cheating on Sarah with his secretary Jennifer. Emma took photos of them together and sent them to Sarah anonymously. She also sent copies to Sarah's father, who was Marcus's biggest business partner. Sarah was heartbroken and angry. She called off the engagement immediately. Her father also canceled a $50 million deal with Williams Industries. Marcus was confused and upset. He had no idea who had sent the photos. He suspected his business enemies, but he could not prove anything. Emma watched from the shadows as Marcus became stressed and paranoid. But this was just the beginning. Next, Emma sent copies of Williams Industries' illegal financial records to the tax department. She made sure they could not trace the information back to her. 2 weeks later, government agents raided the Williams Industries offices. They found evidence of tax evasion worth millions of dollars. Marcus's father was arrested and charged with multiple crimes. Marcus was shocked. His family's business empire was falling apart and he did not know why. The stress made him sick. He lost weight and could not sleep at night. But Emma was not finished. She had saved the worst for last. Emma had discovered that Marcus was secretly gay, but was hiding it because his father would disown him. Marcus was actually in love with his male assistant, David, but was too scared to admit it. Emma decided to use this information to destroy Marcus completely. But first, she wanted him to know who was behind his suffering. One night, when Marcus was working late in his office, Emma knocked on his door. She was wearing her cleaning uniform, but she had styled her hair differently and was wearing makeup. "Excuse me, Mr. Williams," she said. "I need to clean your office." Marcus looked up from his desk. Something about her voice seemed familiar, but he could not place it. "Have we met before?" he asked. Emma smiled coldly. "Yes, we have. 3 months ago, outside the Golden Palace restaurant." Marcus stared at her, confused. Then slowly recognition dawned on his face. You're the beggar?" "My name is Emma Richardson," she said, closing the door behind her. "Does that name sound familiar to you?" Marcus's face went white. "Richardson? Richardson Industries?" "That's right. My father was James Richardson, the man your father destroyed." Marcus stood up from his chair, his hands shaking. "Emma, I didn't know." "You didn't know?" Emma laughed bitterly. "You didn't know that your family's wealth was built on destroying innocent people? You didn't know that your father murdered my father as surely as if he had shot him? That was my father's business, not mine," Marcus said weakly. "But you enjoyed the money, didn't you?" Emma stepped closer to him. "You lived in mansions bought with blood money. You ate expensive food while I starved on the streets. You humiliated me and threw food on the ground like I was an animal." Marcus realized he was in serious trouble. "What do you want?" Emma pulled out a thick folder from her cleaning cart. "I have been working in this building for 6 months. I know everything about your illegal activities. I have recordings, documents, photographs. Enough evidence to send you to prison for 20 years. Marcus's legs felt weak. He sat down heavily in his chair. "You're the one who destroyed my engagement. You're the one who got my father arrested. And I'm just getting started," Emma said with a smile that made Marcus's blood run cold. "What do you want from me?" Marcus asked in a whisper. "I want you to suffer like my family suffered. I want you to lose everything you care about. I want you to feel helpless and desperate. Please, Emma. I'm sorry for what my father did. I'm sorry for how I treated you. But I was young and stupid. I didn't understand." "Ignorance is not an excuse," Emma said. "You had 15 years to make things right. You never even tried to find out what happened to the families your father destroyed." Emma opened the folder and showed Marcus some of the evidence she had collected. His face went even whiter as he saw photos of his secret meetings, recordings of his illegal phone calls, and copies of falsified financial documents. "I could send all of this to the police right now," Emma said. "But that would be too easy. I want you to suffer first." "What do you want me to do?" "You're going to give me $50 million. That's how much my father's company was worth when your father destroyed it." "50 million? I don't have that much cash." "Then sell something. You have plenty of assets." Marcus knew he had no choice. Over the next month, he quietly sold some of his properties and investments to raise the money. He told everyone it was for a new business venture. But Emma was not satisfied with just money. Every week she made new demands. She wanted another $10 million for emotional damage. Then 20 million for lost income. Each time she threatened to expose him if he refused. Marcus was going crazy with stress. He could not eat or sleep. His hair started turning gray. His friends noticed that he looked sick and tired all the time. Meanwhile, Emma was using the money to help other people who had been hurt by big corporations. She opened a shelter for homeless people and started a free food program. But she kept her identity secret. After 3 months of this torture, Emma decided it was time for the final blow. She had discovered Marcus's biggest secret, his relationship with David, his male assistant. Emma arranged to meet Marcus at the same restaurant where he had humiliated her. But this time she arrived wearing an expensive dress and jewelry, bought with his money. Marcus was already sitting at the table when she arrived. He looked like a broken man. He had lost so much weight that his expensive suit hung loose on his body. "You look terrible, Marcus," Emma said as she sat down. "You've taken almost everything from me," Marcus said in a tired voice. "What more do you want?" "I want the whole world to know what kind of man you really are," Emma said. She placed a folder on the table. "I have photos of you and David together. Very intimate photos." Marcus's face went completely white. "How did you? I've been watching you for months. I know about your secret apartment. I know about your weekend trips together. I know everything." Marcus began to cry. "Please, Emma. If those photos become public, my father will disown me. I'll lose what's left of my inheritance." "Good," Emma said coldly. "Now you'll know how it feels to lose your family." "I'll do anything," Marcus begged. "I'll give you more money. I'll sell everything I own. Just please don't destroy my relationship with David." Emma was surprised by this. She had expected Marcus to be ashamed of being gay, but instead he seemed more worried about losing David than losing his money. "You really love him, don't you?" she asked. "Yes," Marcus said honestly. "He's the only good thing in my life. He's the only person who loves me for who I really am, not for my money." For the first time, Emma felt a crack in her hatred. She had spent so many years planning this revenge that she had never considered that Marcus might actually be capable of love. "David doesn't know about your past, does he?" Emma asked. "No. If he knew what my family did to innocent people, he would leave me. He's a good person. He volunteers at charities and helps poor people. He would be disgusted if he knew the truth about my family's money." Emma realized that she had found the perfect way to destroy Marcus completely. She could tell David the truth about Marcus's family and show him the evidence of Marcus's illegal activities. David would leave Marcus and Marcus would be completely alone. But as she looked at Marcus crying at the table, something unexpected happened. She began to feel sorry for him. "Tell me about David," she said. Marcus wiped his eyes. "He's kind and honest. He makes me want to be a better person. Before I met him, I was selfish and cruel just like my father. But David showed me that there was another way to live. If he's so good for you, why haven't you told him the truth about your family?" "Because I'm a coward," Marcus admitted. "I'm afraid he'll leave me if he knows who I really am." Emma studied Marcus's face. This was not the arrogant, cruel man who had humiliated her months ago. This was a broken, scared person who had lost almost everything. "What would you do if you could start over?" Emma asked. Marcus thought for a moment. "I would try to help the people my father hurt. I would give back the money we stole. I would try to be the kind of man David thinks I am." Emma was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "I'm going to give you a choice, Marcus. I can destroy you completely right now. I can send all your secrets to the newspapers and the police. You'll go to prison, lose David, and have nothing left." Marcus nodded. "I understand." "Or," Emma continued, "you can tell David the truth yourself. You can admit what your family did and what you've done. You can give away the rest of your illegal money to help the people your father hurt. And you can spend the rest of your life trying to make up for your family's crimes." Marcus looked up at her in surprise. "You would trust me to do that?" "I don't trust you," Emma said. "But I'm giving you a chance to prove that you can change. If you lie to David or try to cheat, I'll destroy you immediately. And if I tell him the truth and he leaves me? Then you'll know what it feels like to lose someone you love because of your family's crimes. Just like I did." Marcus was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Why are you giving me this choice? I don't deserve your mercy." Emma thought about her father, who had always taught her that revenge without justice was just cruelty. "Because destroying you won't bring my father back. But maybe if you change, some good can come from all this pain." That night, Marcus went to David's apartment. With shaking hands, he told David everything about his father's crimes, about the money, about Emma's revenge, about his own illegal activities. David was shocked and hurt. You lied to me for 2 years? I was afraid you would leave me, Marcus said honestly. I might still leave you, David said angrily. How can I trust you now? I understand if you can't forgive me, Marcus said. But I want to try to make things right. I want to give away all the dirty money and help the people my family hurt. David looked at Marcus for a long time. If you really want to change, prove it. Show me that you're not the same person your father was. Over the next year, Marcus did exactly what he had promised. He sold all his properties and gave the money to families that had been hurt by his father's business practices. He cooperated with the police investigation and testified against his father's associates. Marcus also worked with Emma to identify other companies that his father had destroyed. Together they created a fund to help those families rebuild their lives. Emma watched from a distance as Marcus transformed himself. He got a regular job and moved into a small apartment with David. He volunteered at homeless shelters and food banks. He became the kind of person his father had always hated. One day, Emma received a letter from Marcus. It said, "Dear Emma, I know I can never undo the damage my family caused to yours. I know that saying sorry is not enough. But I want you to know that you saved me from becoming a monster like my father. You gave me a chance to become a better person, even though I didn't deserve it. I hope that someday you can find peace and happiness. You have suffered enough for our family's crimes. Thank you for showing me that there is still justice in this world." Marcus. Emma read the letter several times. For the first time in 15 years, she felt that her father's death had meaning. Marcus would spend the rest of his life helping people instead of hurting them. 6 months later, Emma was working at the homeless shelter she had founded when someone tapped her on the shoulder. She turned around and saw Marcus and David. "We'd like to volunteer here," Marcus said quietly. "If you'll have us." Emma looked at both men. Marcus looked healthy and happy for the first time since she had known him. David was holding his hand supportively. "Can you clean bathrooms?" Emma asked. Marcus smiled. "I'm getting pretty good at it." Emma thought about all the years of anger and planning that had brought them to this moment. The revenge was complete. Justice had been served. And maybe, just maybe, something good had come from all the pain. "The bathrooms are down the hall," she said. "Don't expect any special treatment just because you used to be rich." "I wouldn't dream of it," Marcus said. As Emma watched Marcus and David walk away to start cleaning, she felt something she hadn't felt in years. She felt free. The anger that had consumed her life was finally gone, replaced by something better, the satisfaction of knowing that her father's death had not been meaningless. The revenge was over. But the healing was just beginning. 2 years later, Emma and Marcus were working together at a conference for victims of corporate crime. They had become unlikely partners in fighting for justice. "Do you ever regret not destroying me completely?" Marcus asked during a break. Emma thought for a moment. "Sometimes. But then I remember what my father always told me, that the best revenge is living a good life and helping others. You've helped more people in the last 2 years than you hurt in your entire previous life." "I owe that to you," Marcus said. "You showed me who I really was and who I could become." "No," Emma said. "You chose to change. I just gave you the opportunity." That evening, as Emma walked home through the same streets where she had once begged for food, she thought about the strange turns her life had taken. She had started with nothing but anger and a desire for revenge. She had ended up with a purpose, a mission, and something she had never expected to find: forgiveness. The girl who had once eaten dirty food from the ground was now helping thousands of people rebuild their lives. The man who had thrown that food had learned to serve others with humility and compassion. Sometimes, Emma thought, the most powerful revenge is showing someone how to become better than they ever thought they could be. And sometimes, the greatest victory is not destroying your enemy, but transforming them into an ally in the fight for justice. Emma smiled as she walked home. Her father would have been proud.